Hey everybody, welcome back. It is the Razzball Fantasy Baseball Podcast. I am Beaton, joined by the one, the only, the Fantasy Master, Lothario himself, Gray Albright. How you doing over there, Gray?
I'm good, man. I mentioned last week, I forget, we're doing two pods a week now, so it's hard for me to keep track of what I mentioned in which pod. But I know last week I mentioned that I got a whoop to measure like stress and calories and I don't know what else it measures. Heartbeat. It measures all those kinds of things. And what I saw was I was looking at, for some reason I was looking at the app and I saw I had burned like 700 calories for the day. And then I blew my nose and I had then burned 702 calories. So I'm thinking I might have stumbled on a diet. You just blow your nose all day. Is that
just lose all the calories from there?
Right? I mean, that I feel like I could write a diet book about this. this is something I think. I feel like I stumbled on like a really good fad diet. Just blowing your nose.
I mean, a little pressure up here, a little core down here, everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, Jan Moncada showed up at camp and he blew his nose for 30 days straight. He was great.
Just hope this doesn't catch on, Gray, because otherwise people will be sitting in restaurants just blowing their nose throughout dinner. It'll be terrible. It'll be even more of the end of the restaurant industry.
Honey, do you not like your chicken? Oh, I see. You're trying to make room.
All right, great. We're already going to go 2 hours probably, so let's just jump into it. Number one, we are covering first baseman this podcast. Number one was Nick Kurtz. We talked about in the top 20 podcast. Starting the first tier of this podcast is Vlad Guerrero Jr. Last year, he hit 23 home runs, 6 stolen bases, 96, 84. He hit 292, 381, 467. You have him projected for 27 home runs, 7 stolen bases, 103, 105, and a 312 average. Launch angle actually went up from 2024, but the home runs went down. Is it just like a guessing game between 20 and 50? Not even 50, really. 20 and 35, what Vlad we're going to get?
Yeah, actually, it's funny that because I do these rankings in like early November so I can get them out to the Patreon people. And so it's been a while since I look at the my rankings and projections because I mean after I do them, it's like I know them, so what do I have to look at them for? So anyway, so as you read through my projections for Vlad, and after you say he only hit 23 homers last year, I'm like, wait a minute, he only hit 23 homers last year? That's terrible. What? And that's
not good.
And that's the second best first baseman? Oh man. Oh, I'm a little bit concerned about first baseman now. Yeah, same with Vlad. Yeah, like you mentioned, the launch angle is up, but the homers were still 23. So anyway, what I'll say with Vlad is he does stay remarkably healthy and he manages to put together about as good as a floor season every year. Like I don't know if the upside's ever like the fact that he hit 48 homers one year. I don't know. I mean, it seems kind of ridiculous. Even though I will say this, like in the postseason, I saw like watching a lot of Vlad at bats more than I usually watch because I don't usually watch so many Blue Jays games, to be honest. I mean, I watch some, when Nate Pearson's pitching or something. I don't know, but I'll watch some Jays games, but not that many in a row. And watching the postseason and watching that's how I fell in love with Addison Berger. Anyway, watching Vlad every day, it does seem like he can hit a home run whenever he wants to. he just doesn't seem like he wants to. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know why anyone would be capable of hitting home runs and not want to hit them. So it doesn't really make sense that Vlad could just hit a home run whenever he wants to, but like he was doing in the postseason. There was a good 2 weeks there where it's like he's out of his mind. He looks so good. And I mean, you look at his numbers and his Statcast sliders, and it's like everything is perfect except for the result. I mean, homers is kind of like, I mean, come on. I mean, let's be honest, 23 homers isn't really amazing for a first baseman, but everything else is beautiful. And, you know, and it looks like neutrally, he's basically a 310 hitter, which is incredible, especially in today's, game where like Trey Turner won the NL batting title with like a 302 average or something. So it's, if you're a neutral 310 hitter, that's great. He's always in the middle of a good lineup. So that gives, the 100 runs, the 100 RBIs ish, of course, like it's not, not set in stone. That's what he's going to get, but around those numbers. And then the homers are really, I mean, like what you let in with the homers are really the big question mark. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, like I said, it looked like in the postseason he could hit a home run whenever he wants to. So my question to Vlad is, why doesn't he hit a home run? Hit more. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I projected him for 27. That feels like, I don't know, it feels realistic, even though he just hit 23. I mean, I honestly think he's capable of 40 plus homers. I just don't know if we're going to see that. I mean, it seems implausible, even though he's hit 48 in a year. So, I mean, that possibility is out there. I wouldn't be like shocked if he hit 40 plus homers, but projecting him for more than 30, I mean, it feels very optimistic. And that's even in, his standard 600-ish plate appearances or whatever, 600, actually more closer to 700. I mean, he's like a 600 at bat guy. So yeah, I mean, I think Vlad's great. I have him outside the top 20 overall because I just don't know if the power is really going to be there. It could be, but it's hard to really bank on it. So yeah, I like him. I would actually draft him this year, which I don't think I've said in the past. It's price contingent, obviously, as all these guys are. But I would look at Vlad if he were around in maybe the 20 to 25 range, roughly. Right now his ADP is at 20. That means, of course, he's going to be going in some drafts later than that. So if he goes at 25 to 30 in a draft, I would totally draft him. I have no problem with him. I just feel like, maybe the upside is a little bit lower than, what you might be thinking.
Yeah, I think 25 to 30 is probably the area where I would look at him too. I don't think we're going to get a lot of shares of him in that range, but I'm also okay with that. I will say for his case, I guess, he's the only person who hits more home runs in even number years than odd number years. That's just kind of a league-wide thing. And by a decent margin, this was
that is not as scientific as you're going to find in any baseball podcast. I don't know.
Well, okay. I will go into that. But by a decent margin, last year was his lowest swing rate of his career. And sometimes you see this with really polished hitters like Vlad. Votto did this throughout his whole career where they have such a good eye, they're just not swinging because they're not good pitches. But then they're not swinging and they're getting walks, which his walk rate was up. And you kind of lose the plate appearances when you have that many walks. And when you're being that selective, you don't rip at balls and hit as many home runs. And so I do think there's probably a small bounce back. The even number year thing goes back to me saying, every odd year across the league, there are more home runs than there are on even number years. And this goes back over a decade now, 2015 or 2016, I think, 2015 was the last odd number year that did not outpace home runs for an even number year. So it's been 11 years since an even number year had more home runs than an odd number year. I know that's not exactly scientific, but we do know MLB moves the ball back and forth. It kind of makes sense that it would go.
So you're saying basically
a batted ball to a pitcher's ball. Right?
It's like the offense comes down for 1 year, and Rob Manfred is like, "Hey, what's going on there?" It's like, give us the bouncy balls.
And then the pitchers complain, and then they go back to a pitcher ball.
It's like then the pitchers are like, "I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that one, Rob." And so Rob's like, "Oh, all right. Well, I think people want to see pitching more." So then those balls come in. The dead balls come in. Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm saying, Gray. And does that not make sense? Let's just be honest here. Does that not feel realistic?
Honestly, I feel like there's at least a 30% chance that's what's happening. At least.
2019, 2021, those are clearly the outliers, and those both odd years, definitely contributing to the case. It's either
that, or there's at MLB headquarters, there's a door marked even and a door marked odd, and on the odd years they go in and get the balls for that season from that door, and then on the even years, and this is also at least a 25% chance that this is what is going on.
At least, Gray. At least a 25% chance. Let's move on to number 3, though. Number 3 is Pete Alonso. We talked about him in the Winter Meetings podcast, so we're not going to really cover him here. He had a great year. I actually like Pete Alonso more than I like Vlad. Just give me the home runs and we'll call it a day. Number 4, Josh Naylor, who we talk about all the time, because last year he had 20 home runs, 30 stolen bases, 81, 92. He hit 295, 353, and 462. You have projected for 25 home runs, 15 stolen bases, 81, 96, and 287. Even year, Gray. That's a down year for Josh Naylor in the average department. So we're just gonna pencil that in since we're on this even year, odd year kick right now. And let's just also talk about the stolen bases, because obviously that's the biggest thing here with Josh, slowest person in Major League Baseball, Naylor.
If you're, we're not Saber metricians, we're Saberhagen metricians.
Hey, sometimes you just got to look at the numbers and see what correlates, Gray.
Yeah. So Josh Naylor is slower than your grandma, and he stole 30 bags, which actually threw the entire field of math into disarray when he stole 30 bags, because people used to think sprint speed meant something, but clearly it means nothing at all, because there's no one slower than Josh Naylor, and he managed to steal 30 bags. His 30 steals, I feel like Josh Naylor's 30 steals is something I've talked about more than literally any other stat for like the last year. It's really it's because like I feel like his steals have thrown every single projection of steals into question. Because like, okay, Pete Alonso, for instance, yeah, okay, he's a 2 to 3 steal guy, but is he really slower than Josh Naylor? I mean, who's to say, really? Like, I would, at the All-Star game this year, I would like to see a race between Josh Naylor and everyone who got less steals than Josh Naylor. I guarantee you, Josh Naylor will come in dead last. So it's like, I feel like he proved what we were saying in the top 20 podcast with Juan Soto. It's really, it's even more so for Josh Naylor. It really is a moment right now in baseball where if you want to steal bases, that's all you want. All you have to do is want to steal them. Like anyone can steal bases if they want. So it's really difficult to, project the guy's steals. Like if you would have said, last year, coming into last year, if you would have projected Josh Naylor for 15 steals, people would have laughed you out of the room, dude. They would have been like, are you crazy? 15 steals? That's insane. And then he goes and steals 30 bags. So now everyone's projections, literally everyone, my projections, Steamer, the Bat, everyone, the other people, they all have him for between 15 and 17 steals for his projections. Like, you would have been like, it would have been the craziest thing anyone's ever said in their life if you would have done that last year. And now it's like, everyone I feel like is just shrugging with his projections for steals. It's like, I guess 15? I don't know. He's slow and he just stole 30. I don't know. I guess half, maybe. It's so ludicrous that, he's being projected for 15 steals because he could literally come back this year and steal 5 bags and people would be like, I guess he's a 5 steal guy now. I don't know. I don't know. No one knows. No one has any idea. He could easily steal 30 bags again. No one knows. So anyway, so you mentioned his average, which alternates between good and bad depending on the year number. Yeah, I mean, I guess that could be the case. He is usually, I mean, at least every other year, he's very solid for average. He doesn't strike out at all. He gets on base a decent amount. In every other year. So, I mean, hopefully that trend doesn't continue because he hit 295 last year. So we kind of want him to, stay off of trend and hit 300 again this year, or 300-ish. Yeah, I mean, the power, I don't think it's going to be helped really, in his new park. But he's never really been a power guy. I predict him for 25 homers. I'm probably on the high side there, to be totally honest. I mean, he could, 1 year he hit 20 homers. Next year he hit 17. Then he hit 31. And then he hit 20 again. So he looks closer to a 20 homer guy, all things being equal. But, I don't know. He's a really complicated guy to project because, like, you really kind of have no idea from year to year. I think I'm fine drafting him though because I mean, usually the baseline for all his stats, I mean, he should be in the middle of the lineup. At worst, if you get a year like his, his last quote unquote bad year, I guess that wasn't good. But that was way back in 2022. Like his next worst year, most recent worst year, quote unquote, was in 2024 when he hit 31 homers, stole 6 bags, and hit 243. If that's, I mean, if you're getting, so chop off, 5 homers because he's not really a 31 homer guy. So if you end up with like, 24, 5, 245, it's obviously not ideal, but that's going to come with 85 runs, 100 RBIs. It shouldn't be a deal breaker for your team, worst case scenario. I think you should be fine. So yeah, I'm fine with Josh Naylor. He feels pretty safe.
Yeah, I think safe for fantasy value, but as you mentioned, it's just kind of a mystery in regards to how you're going to get it. He's definitely going to give you runs and RBIs, so you can kind of put those in there, and that's something that you can count on, or at least the RBI side. Like you said, the averages in the last 4 years, going back to 2022, 256, 308, 243, 295. The strikeout rate kind of goes in and out with the average. Not ever bad, just, it's like 13.7 on the dot when he has a good average. It's like 16 and a half when he has a bad average. So it doesn't feel like there's a huge change here. Just it's all kind of a mystery in regards to how you're going to get fantasy value from Josh Naylor. 15th slowest sprint speed in baseball. I know we've talked about it over and over again. I will say, if you remove the stolen bases out of last year and just make him, for the player rater purposes, a 0, not a negative, which does happen on the player rater, but you just make him a 0, he falls to number 9 at first base, which is behind Freddie Freeman, just in front of Michael Busch. But as you mentioned, he finishes strong on the player rater year after year, despite us having no idea how he's going to do it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's actually a good way of putting it. Like, even if things were really sideways for him last year with with no speed, he still would have been decent enough to warrant his ADP, which is, this year it's around 65. I think it was probably around the same last year. Maybe it was a little bit later last year, but he's fine at 65 overall. I don't mind Josh Naylor.
Yeah, even if your 65 finishes 100, that's not going to kill your team. Obviously, that's not what you want, but this is kind of the world you live in if you want to be shopping in first base a little bit as well. We haven't really talked about it great, but first base is pretty hideous compared to the glory days of like the early 2000s. Moving on to number 5, Vinnie Pasquantino, Vinnie Spaghetti. Last year had 32 home runs, a stolen base, 72, 113. He hit 264, 323, and 475. You have him projected for 34 home runs, stolen base, 84, 107, and 271. He had the best home run and fly ball of his career. Launch angle was up. Did have the worst strikeout rate, but the average bat speed went up. Fast swing rate went up. So just seems like he made a decision to be more aggressive.
Yeah, and also I don't know if we've mentioned before, but the Royals recently announced that they're moving the fences in 10 feet. So, for whatever that's worth, maybe that gives them an extra 3 homers. Maybe an extra 1 to 3 homers. I don't know. I mean, the Orioles moved their fences in last year, and we knew what happened there with Gunnar Henderson. So they need to keep moving the fences in Baltimore. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so yeah, with Vinny, I really like Vinny. He's one of the guys, like, I feel like after they announced that the Royals were moving the fences in, he might have got a slight bump. I don't know for sure. I would think he would have as far as ADP goes, but I was already pretty high on him. Like, I was higher on him than I believe most people. I think I was higher than ADP. I'm totally in on Vinny. I think his ADP right now is 86. I think I have him at like 60. I want to say a good round and a half ahead of ADP. So I'm still pretty far ahead of Pasquantino. I feel like he was always a guy who was good for average, or at least considered good for average. He came up his rookie year, he hit 295, and then his average sort of trailed off a little bit. But his Ks never really, his Ks went up a little bit last year, but only 15.7%, which is, not bad for a slugging first baseman. So, if he can find that average that he lost a little bit along the way and to find where he was, where he was originally was when he first came up, I really think like he could put together one of those, unfortunately there's no speed, but like one of like a say Vlad Guerrero type year where, with more power potentially. So, if Vinny can get to, like, last year, 32 homers, fences come in. I don't think it's outrageous to consider like maybe 35 homers is in his ballpark. Pun noted. And also, I think the average comes up a little bit. Like I said, the strikeout rate isn't bad. The BABIP was, has been a little bit low, not crazy low though, because he does hit a decent number of fly balls. So I honestly feel like Vinny could be the next coming of like Pete Alonso, maybe Pete Alonso a better average, maybe Pete Alonso like last year when he hit, whatever he hit, like 260 last year. Pete, I believe, hit 272. Yeah, he had a good average here. So yeah, if Vinny hits 35 homers and 270, I mean, in the middle of the lineup. So with that comes, 80 runs, 100 RBIs, plus or minus 10 to 15 on both sides there. I really like Vinny Pasquantino a lot. I mean, I I feel like it might be because my mother's Italian, maybe. Maybe I'm biased here, but I am half Sicilian, so I mean it's possible. I am liking Vinny because he's a fellow Paisan, but I really do like Vinny a lot this year. I feel like we have so many first basemen who are like either at a plateau or potentially getting worse. Where Vinny's one of the few guys where I can look at him and be like, he's the same or better this year. And that's, I think, rare right now in this position. So I like Vinny a lot.
Yeah, I think I'll let you have Vinny in our leagues this year. I am not as high on him as you are. I know he took the step last year, looked better. It definitely did. I just don't see him adding more home runs. Like even getting back to 30 seems a little bit fluky. Like he had 10 home runs in August. He had that stretch where he hit a home run in a game for like 5 straight games. He had 9 in like 12 days. Like that's really hard to duplicate. We've seen it happen with other players where they get on a streak and then they have like this crazy run and then we project them for more home runs next year and they don't have that run. Maybe he has that run every year and he gets 10 in a month. That's possible. These are some of the best hitters in the world, but it feels kind of fluky when the rest of the season looks completely different than that month pretty much.
Every party's got a pooper. That's why we invited you, party pooper. Party pooper.
I can get the same thing you're thinking he's giving, or at least what I have projected for. You have projected for better than I do. I can get what I have projected for from like the next 4 guys, maybe a couple down below even. So I like Vinny P. I'm not going to be drafting him where you have him at. Maybe because ADP is definitely lower than where you have him. I could see getting in on him where ADP has him, which is 10th among first basemen currently. That's probably closer to where I have him. That's right around where I have him. At 5, Gray, you're gonna have your share of him. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, no, I said I was the high man on him. I agree.
The batted ball data is nice, but it's like top 100. It's not top 20, which is kind of this tier or kind of these guys we're talking about. At least in this tier, this first tier among first basemen that we're discussing.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair. I mean, like I said, I feel like Vinny is one of the few guys who is actually going up, and a lot of these guys, like the next batch of guys, like the Olsons, Devers, Bryce Harpers of the world, and Freddie Freeman, they're all like, okay, I guess, whatever. I mean, I feel like all their best is behind them, but I've been a Rafael Devers, Freddie Freeman hater for a while now. Matt Olson and Bryce Harper I used to like a lot, but I'm finding my hater in them too.
Yeah, let's move on to that next tier. Let's talk about Matt Olson, Gray, who comes at number 6. Last year he had 20 home runs, a stolen base, 98, 95. He hit 272, 366, and 484. Young projected for 33 home runs, a stolen base, 92, 103, and a 255 average. He had his career best hard hit and average exit velocity. Like I said, I don't really understand why he's behind Vinny P, but again, you have Vinny P projected for very nice numbers.
Yeah. I mean, I have Vinny P's average coming up to 271, and I have Matt Olson, his average going down to 255. So, 20 points. And I have Vinny P at 5 for first baseman. I have Matt Olson at 6. So we're kind of splitting hairs. They're kind of.
Yeah, I'm only bringing it up because there is a tier break. You did put a tier in here.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm saying that. That's why, because I feel like 20 points an average for what I'm projecting is a difference, and I do feel like I've mentioned how I think Vinny's getting better, where Matt Olson, I feel like I mean, you're getting what you're getting. I think at this point, I don't think we're gonna see another 50+ homer season from him. I will say, I mean, he does what he does repeatedly. Like, there hasn't been many, really awful years from Matt Olson for a while now. I mean, 162 games, season in, season out. 29 homers last 2 years, no speed, 272 last year, 247 the year before. It's, strikeout rate almost unchanged from year to year for the last 4 years. Everything is very consistent with him. So, I mean, at a certain point, he is 31. He turns 32 in March. So at a certain point, at some point, his fly balls are going to turn into, rather than homers, they're going to turn into 290-foot outs. But as of right now, I'm not willing to say that. I mean, I still have him at 6 overall for first baseman. So, he's fine. I don't see upside really anymore. I think he's okay. And the Braves have managed to somehow ruin so many guys in the last 2 years. I mean, guys I really liked. I don't know what happened to Albies. I mean, Ozzie Albies he just disappeared. But Matt Olson's his own person. Doesn't mean he's going to disappear. I feel like, my projections say, a solid 60-ish overall first baseman. In ADP, I think he's going at 50. So I'm a little bit behind ADP for Matt Olson. He's currently Matt Olson is currently at 50. And I think I have him at 65 maybe. So, around off of ADP. So I'm going to draft him, but I don't necessarily hate him. That's also NFBC ADP. So that, that's its own specific beast. So, I mean, if Yahoo has him ranked at 80, even though I feel like Yahoo probably has him at 30, but I'm just saying in different leagues, he may have a different ADP. So it's not like I don't only play in NFBC, so there's a chance I could have him and maybe in other leagues if he's going later there.
Yeah, I think I will have Matt Olson more than I'm going to have Vinnie P. I think, although ADP says maybe not. I will say, we're just going to continue the even odd year thing here. Even year, that means it's a down average year for Matt Olson. Just running off averages here from 2019, 267, 195, 271, 240, 283, 247, 272. I mean, again, I'm not saying, but there's starting to be evidence that I might not be crazy gray. And that also goes to your Vinnie P side, although Vinnie P would have to be on some Mark McGwire stuff really to get to the hard hit and average exit velocity that Matt Olson is already. Matt Olson could decline a decent amount and still hit the ball harder than Vinnie Pasquantino. But we'll see what happens this year. Number 7, Rafael Devers, who you did not like last year, and seems like, I don't know, you're probably maybe just a little below ADP this year. Last year had 35 home runs, a stolen base, 99, 109. He hit 252, 372, and 479. You have projected for 33 home runs, a stolen base, 94, 106, and a 244 average. Obviously, the average dipped away from Boston. The strikeout rate increased, which was a little bit weird, and the home run, the fly ball went up, which is, I think, maybe even weirder potentially. But what are your thoughts on Devers in his new house?
Yeah, I was thinking about how the homers went up a little bit in San Fran, and I think there's probably a way to do this without it just being a guess, but I'm going to guess and say, if a guy is hitting the ball off the wall in left, he's not going to be he's not if you hit a screamer off the wall and it goes for a single or a double, it's not going to, reach the seats in any way, shape, or form if it's not high enough off the ground in Fenway. Whereas like in San Fran, you can hit homers to the first or second row of left field. So I mean that could be why his power went up a little bit. I also when I dug in on him for the rankings, I remember seeing that he actually was better for power in San Fran. So that was kind of my take for why. But with that, I mean, that also tracks with why his average went down because, like I just said in my example, if the ball's not going off the wall at 280 feet or whatever the green monster is, it's, that's going to end up hurting him. So for average, that is, so there's going to be times when maybe I wouldn't be surprised if he's a 245 hitter now in this new park. Like I have him projected for 244. I feel like that's, that feels realistic to me. I think his average is going to dip, but his power will be okay. I mean, who knows? But that's what it feels like to me. It feels like he's able to, his shoulder seemed fine coming off of 2024. His shoulder was fine and everything looked back to normal for his power. And, just the park change alone has him as a, 32-ish 245 hitter with no speed, which is fine, middle of the order. So that gives you, 90 runs, 100 RBIs, all that stuff. So, I mean, it's not terrible. It just feels like it's a small bit under, just like a very tiny bit under Matt Olson. So yeah, very close. I mean, these guys are all like their ADP is close. They're all very close. I mean, that's, I have them ranked this way because this is the way I would draft them, but they're all super close.
Yeah, they are. I mean, these guys are kind of in a grouping here. And I think that's why I kind of brought up Pasquantino and talking about him and maybe even Naylor to some extent, just because I feel like from Naylor to probably Freeman or even Michael Busch, like that feels like the tier for me where you're like, they're all kind of the same and they're all gonna do it in different ways a little bit, but kind of come out to the same areas. I do wonder if Devers like approach changing, so more power, more strikeouts, a little less average. I wonder if that is also team related and a team approach, because if you just look at the roster builds, like San Francisco is definitely more swing, miss, go for power, whereas Boston is more of like a take your walks, use your speed, put the ball in play type of roster build. So I do wonder if there's just a little bit of the team asked him to just be a power hitter when he came over as well. And that may or may not change with the manager change.
Right. Yeah, it could be. I mean, Alex Cora probably said to Rafael Devers, hey, use your speed. And Rafael Devers was like, excuse me?
I mean, you put me in DH, you know why I'm a DH, right?
And then Alex Cora was like, I want to show you some highlights of Josh Naylor.
Let me show you this guy over here. He can do it. You're faster than him.
I mean, go on.
All right, great. We're going to keep the veteran train rolling with Bryce Harper. Coming in last year with 132 games, 27 home runs, 12 stolen bases, 72, 75. He hit 261, 357, and 487. Young projected for 26 home runs, 10 stolen bases, 81, 85, and a 267 average. I mean, almost identical numbers across the board from 2024, with maybe just a few more ground balls that cost him maybe a little bit of average. I think the biggest question is just the amount of games he's going to play.
Yeah, no, totally. I don't know if people heard, but during the offseason, the Phillies GM Dave Dombrowski said that Bryce Harper, he said something to, paraphrasing here, but he was like, I guess he sucks now. Something like that. I don't think it was exactly those words, but I do think there's some narrative here where Bryce Harper could come into the season and be really like amped up to be better than he's been. or better than he was at least last year. I could see that. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if he used that to motivate himself. The only problem is, like you mentioned, we're in an older guy tier, and Bryce Harper's, 33, and like the heart may want to be better, but 33, maybe you can't be better. I mean, that's possible too. So he may not be able to stay on the field as much as he once was able to. I mean, I've always liked Bryce Harper. I've liked him at least the last decade. I don't really like him this year. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could end up with him maybe because his ADP isn't like. I mean, his ADP is bad.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah, according to at least NFBC, his ADP is 47, which is that's ridiculous. I don't know who's drafting him that high. But I guess I'm not gonna roster him in any leagues. But I mean, he's still he's still got that good eye, and he doesn't strike out a ton. And I mean, he should be good for 25, 10, 265, which has value in the middle of a decent lineup. I mean, he should be okay. I don't think he's just gonna fall off the face of the earth, but I guess there's a possibility, but that's real anecdotal, that just because like Dombrowski said something that he's going to suddenly be spurred on to have like this great year. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. So I don't know. I mean, I think he is who he is at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, the only thing really up to question for me is how many games we're going to get. Is it 100? Is it 145? Like that's the rates are pretty much there. Like he's going to give you the same numbers. Like you said, maybe there's a little bit of motivation and he comes in a little bit better, but like you look at the numbers and they're eerily similar across the last 4 years for him. So I really just, he should be taken where he's been falling and what he's been doing. And as you mentioned, that's probably a bit rich for either of us. And it doesn't look like it's just NFBC. It looks like across the board, he is going inside the top, at least the top 50, if not even inside the top 40. At that point, somebody else is going to draft him because I just don't see, like, I guess he could hit 330, 10, and then, if he's got 100 of across the board, he kind of like puts it all together and gives you value across the board. And that's like the dream, I guess, for him. But that really seems like him putting it all together in, again, what is his age 33 season? I actually thought the one reason the Phillies might not bring back Schwarber is to move Harper over to DH a little bit more often, but that's not even an option anymore. So, I feel like Harper is what he is. Moving on to number 9, an even older veteran, Freddie Freeman. Last year, 147 games. He had 24 home runs, 6 stolen bases, 81, 90. He hit 295, 367, 502. You have him projected for 21 home runs, 5 stolen bases, 77, 88, and a 283 average. He had the worst strikeout rate since 2016, worst walk rate of his career, or worst walk rate since his rookie season. Average bat speed is pretty much the same as 2024, but the fast swing rate continues to decline here. Like, thank God he's on the Dodgers, Gray.
Yeah. When he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, are you going to go to Cooperstown to protest?
I don't have a problem with him. I have no problems with Freddie Freeman.
Are you going to go with
strictly a fantasy evaluation?
Are you going to be like a Freddie Freeman Antifa? Are you going to go there with like goggles and like throw a smoke bomb in when he's doing his speech? You're Freddie Freeman Antifa. Oh God. Yeah, I mean, his ADP has fallen. So I feel like, because I was having this discussion on the site today about like Mookie Betts, because his ADP has fallen too, and we'll talk about him when we get around to shortstops. But I feel like Freddie Freeman, to me, his ADP's fallen to the point where I could almost see myself drafting Freddie Freeman at this point. If it's on the low end of his ADP, like right now it's at like 65 to about 80. If that's fine. I feel like for him, I'm not looking. I'm not like going out of my way to get Freddie Freeman, but I could see being there at like 80 and being like, it's not terrible. That's not, he's Bryce Harper. So he's Bryce Harper with a little less power, around the same speed, and a little bit better average. I mean, they're so like all these guys are so close in value. I think Freddie Freeman probably he's a little bit closer to the cliff of falling off and being like, a 17 homer, 5 steal, 270 hitter. Like I feel like Freddie Freeman may not be too far off from that cliff, but for now, he looks decent enough.
Yep, I'm probably not going to own Freddie Freeman currently, based on ADP. If he gets to 100, absolutely, I will draft him. I just don't. I'm just not going to own him, at least in shallow leagues at his current ADP. In deeper leagues, I could see, wanting the security of having a first baseman who's going to play 145 games. There's definitely something to that, but in the shallow league, I just don't see the upside worth taking him in the top 60 or even top 80 really. There's just other places I think I'd rather put my money, but I get it. Again, there's consistency. You're going to get the counting numbers. You should get, I'm not going to say he's going to hit 300 because again, the bat speed still continues to decline. But 285 is still pretty solid. Moving on to the next tier. Number 10, Michael Busch. Last year, he had 34 home runs, 4 stolen bases, 78-90. He hit 261, 343, and 523. Young projected for 31 home runs, 5 stolen bases, 86, 84, and a 263 average. Showed pretty decent improvement in the strikeout rate, home run, fly ball, average across the board. Showed a little bit of improvement, pretty much. What are your thoughts on Michael Busch?
Is this, as a Cubs fan, can I ask you, is Michael Busch really going to lead off? Is that for real?
I don't see why he would. That doesn't make really any sense to me. But I don't pretend to know what the Cubs are doing. I would assume it's Nico, like it's been for the last whatever years Nico's been with the Cubs.
Right.
Yeah, I don't see why you would bury him at like 7 or 8 or 9. That seems ridiculous to move Michael Busch up, of all people. Michael Busch is an extremely hot, cold type of hitter. So I can see when he's hitting well.
The Busch is volatile, is what you're saying. He's volatile.
I am. He's fiery.
He's fiery. It's a fiery Busch. I like this is a new tier. I really like Michael Busch. But I'm also kind of confused as to why everyone doesn't like him, because last year, 34 for 261. Like you said, streaky, yes, but at the end of the day, a 34 homer, 4 steals, 261. What's not to like? I don't know. That sounds like, take the names away, and how different is that than Matt Olson? Is it?
No, it's really not. It's pretty much the same thing, except we don't know where Michael Busch is hitting. That's about the only kind of maybe there. But since I bring it up for other people, Michael Busch does not hit at the same kind of Statcast level as Matt Olson does, but they're not bad. Like, it's not bad numbers from Michael Busch, and like I said, it was a little up and down, but at the end of the year, for at least for roto purposes, it was all there. I could see in a head-to-head, maybe you would take somebody else just because of the inconsistency, but at the same time, you can kind of stream first base a little bit to some extent, and then when he's hot, Michael Busch is as good as anybody. One weird thing was the average bat speed and swing rate were down, or fast swing rate were down, but all those numbers improved, so he's just squaring up the ball better. To use a golf term, like you center the ball, it's going to go further than it will if you're not there. So, he's just finding the middle of the bat a little bit more consistently now. And I agree. I don't know why his ADP is so far below, at least, a lot of the guys talked about: Harper, Olsen, Devers, Freeman, Vinnie, even. Like, I don't know why he's not in the same area or just slightly behind them. Like, he's after 100.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, totally. I'm wearing socks that have Tupac's face on them, and they're super itchy. I feel like, is it because Tupac doesn't like me? What's going on?
I'm not going to touch that, Gray. We're just going to move on to...
Distracted. Sorry, I was distracted. I'm sorry, all right? Sue me, I was distracted. Okay, let's go.
It's okay. Audiences are used to long run times, Gray. Number 11, Tyler Soderstrom. Last year, 25 home runs, 8 stolen bases, 75, 93. He hit 276, 346, and 474. Young projected for 30 home runs, 5 stolen bases, 84, 102, and 256. The strikeout rate continues to improve. I mean, he did have a high BABIP, but he is also playing for the A's.
Yeah, Bing Bong Stadium, man. I drafted one team already, and I drafted Soderstrom. I love him too. I love this tier. I'm Michael Busch and Tyler Soderstrom. I'm all about both of them. I feel like both are, if you take their names away, I mean, their stats look like the same things we were getting from the guys who were talking about in a tier before. Like Soderstrom last year, what was it? 25, 8, 276. So, results only. That was, that was kind of his breakout in a way, but it's also, he's in Sacktown. It's Sacramento, man. It's like you could hit, I could hit a home run in Sacktown. Okay, not me, but most people can. I think Soderstrom really could. I don't know. I feel like he could be one of those breakouts this year. And also the 8 steals was nice. I don't know if you can necessarily, count on it for sure. It kind of felt a little bit like the Josh Naylor steals, but 8 steals is 8 steals. He did it. I mean, who knows what he'll do this year, but strikeouts went down. Like you said, the BABIP was up, but again, Sacktown. So yeah, walk rate's fine. Everything looks good, man. And he's only 24 years old. Again, it's hard to find guys on the upswing in this position. It's nice to see. I think Tyler Soderstrom is good for 27, 5, 260. Good for that with upside. So that means, 32, 34 homers, 7 to 10 steals, 275 average again. I think it's all on the table. So I like Tyler Soderstrom a lot.
Yeah, I don't see what is that different between him and, let's say, Bryce Harper, who's going 30, 40 picks ahead of him. They seem like they're going to give you pretty similar numbers. I understand Bryce Harper is Bryce Harper, but we're also talking about like 33, 34-year-old Harper versus Soderstrom, who's going to be 24. Like I said, there's an upside here that isn't really being taken into account at times. Moving on to the next tier, which has been Rice at number 12. We talked about him in the catcher rankings, so you can go listen to that. Number 13 is Yandy Diaz. Last year had 25 home runs, 3 stolen bases, 79, 83. He had 300, 366, and 482. Young projected for 17 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 79, 71, and 304. Gray, are you really going to fall for a 34-year-old Yandy on an even year again? Like, is this you really falling for him, or is it literally that there are no good options at this point at first base?
Yeah, Yandy is the kind of guy who I will say this, I'd probably rank him close to ADP every year. and I don't think I ever draft him.
So that's why I bury him. It's never an option, really.
It's always like, I mean, it's like I have good intentions when I rank him and project him, and I'm like, a 17 to 20 homer, 300 hitter in the middle of the lineup is worth around 130 overall in rankings. And then I look at ADP and he's around 130 in ADP. And then I get into a draft and I'm like, who else you got? I don't want it. I don't want him.
Maybe I'll take a pitcher since I haven't.
Yeah. Wait, what's Chase Burns doing this year? How's that? Yeah, I'm not drafting Yandy, but I mean, at this point at 34, he is who he is, right? I mean, he's like the most cock diesel 15 homer guy. He's had 24-inch pythons to hit like 12 homers. It's crazy. But he does have good average usually because he hits everything. So he doesn't hit that hard, but he hits it hard enough where a line drive, he has a flat swing. Last year was completely predictable for Yandy Diaz because they were in a minor league park. Going back to the Trop with, his batted ball profile, I mean, really kind of whatever. Like, he's worth about 130 overall in a draft. I just don't see myself drafting him.
Yeah, I don't either. That's just not what I want from that draft pick, really. Again, in a deeper league, I could see owning Yandy because it is a little bit of just consistency, playing time. He's going to be in the middle of the lineup. You might need some average at that point in the draft. So I can understand how he ends up on your team in a deeper league. In a 12-team league, I am not going to end up with Yandy Diaz on my roster at all. And not to bring it up again, but I'm just going to keep doing it. We're on an even year. The most home runs he's hitting in an even year is 14. I'm good. He already beats the ball into the ground. I don't really need to take the chance that it's beating the ball into the ground and not going anywhere over the fence. And if you're in some leagues, he may not qualify for first base. He should, though. I think he should qualify for first and third across the board. Moving on to the next tier, number 14 is Alec Burleson. Last year in 139 games, he had 18 home runs, 5 stolen bases, 54, 69, and hit 290, 343, and 459. Year projected for 20 home runs, 6 stolen bases, 77, 81, and a 286 average. He improved on a lot of things: average exit velocity, hard hit, average bat speed, fast swing rate. I don't know that I buy the average gains, but it seems from your projections you are.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, he is kind of like, I mean, he's got like a pretty low ceiling, right? I mean, there's not a ton here, like he's like a poor man's older first baseman tier. He's a poor man's version of that. I mean, he's like 20 homers, 5 steals, 280 average, which is fine. I mean,
he's retirement Freddie Freeman.
Yeah. I mean, he's basically Freddie Freeman, but younger. So, he's ready Freeman. I don't know. I mean, he's fine. I think owning him, rostering him last year was kind of a bit of a bear because there was moments where he would be randomly benched against lefties. And I think I had him in a weekly league. So that always stands out more. Like, it's always a little bit more frustrating when a guy is benched in a weekly league. Cause it's like, especially when it's like benched on Monday and then you get thrown into like disarray where you're like, oh, should I bench him myself? Is he going to play this week? But with all that said, well, the Cardinals lineup is awful. he's in the middle of it though. So there's that. The Cardinals are a really bad team. I don't know what happened there, but they're bad. And Burleson is like, probably, I don't know. He's like he's hitting third probably for a bad team. So that should give him roughly 75 runs, 85 RBIs, maybe something in that range. He is good for average. So there's that. Yeah, I mean, no big power, no real good speed. I'm
You're really selling the hell out of Alec Burleson here as a top 15 first baseman.
He's fine. He's more of a corner man for a deeper league.
Yeah, I am not going to.
This though, like he's the 14th ranked first baseman. I mean, this gives you an idea of like first base is real iffy. I mean, that's it. Like we went over, like it was like a bunch of old guys, Bush and Soderstrom, who I'm excited about, and like the top 5 overall, like from Nick Kurtz to Pasquantino. Nick Kurtz to Pasquantino, good. Then the old guys, the Olsen Devers guys, and then like Bush and Soderstrom, who I like a lot, and then kind of like, yeah, well, Yandy Diaz, Alec Burleson. I mean, okay.
Yeah, it does get pretty ugly here, which is kind of just to point out this is that point. This is that point where you're like, I guess I need a first baseman. I'm just going to take the hit and grab one, even though I can get better numbers from somebody else out there. I mean, Alec Burleson was really not that good last year. I don't really want him. I understand why he's here, though, because there's not a whole lot of excitement behind him. But there's times, even when Alec Burleson is going well, that you're like, hey, he's hitting 300. He has 1 home run in the last 3 weeks. This feels really crappy to be running out as my first baseman. But again, if you've waited this long, that might be okay for you because at least he's given you something positive on a game-to-game basis.
He was 167th overall on the player rater last year. I shut the ADP window, but I would guess his ADP is probably around 167. I mean, that's probably what it is. So, I mean, that makes sense at 170 overall. I mean, it's fine. It is, I mean, it's hard to get excited about it, obviously, as you can tell from our voices, but, it's okay.
Yeah, he will have dual eligibility. That does help a little bit. You can move him first base, corner, outfield. So that's at least something that you can, put a little extra value to him. So that definitely helps. But let's move on to number 15, which is Jack Caglione. Last year in 62 games in the majors, he had 7 home runs, a stolen base. He hit 157, 237, 295. Not exactly amazing in his first look. In the minors, across AA and AAA, he had 20 home runs, 3 stolen bases. He hit 337, 408, and 617. He did keep the strikeouts down across everywhere. And obviously, as you heard from the numbers, he smashed in the minors. What are your thoughts on Jack Caglione?
I think, like you mentioned, he hit 157. 157 is not good, by the way, for people who are new to baseball. 157 in the majors last year, and decent. I mean, it's a pretty big sample size, and 210 at bats in 62 games. 157 is awful. With that said, I think we could probably just throw that number away. Like, I don't know if that's really going to be, a number that we're going to look back on and be like, wow, we should have known better. He hit 157. I mean, it feels a little bit like he got unlucky. His BABIP was 172. I mean, that's ridiculous. So he had a super low BABIP. He had a 22.4% strikeout rate. So he made decent contact for a rookie, especially for a rookie slugger. I feel like he's probably a little bit underrated right now. I could see drafting Caglione. Again, my mom's Italian, so maybe it's a Paisan thing. I don't know. But I'm fine taking a flyer on Caglione, especially where he's going in drafts, which is right now at like around 200 overall. So, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, ADP on him is worth taking a gamble. I mean, anything after 200, I feel like if you have the upside that he has is definitely worth a look. Yeah, I like Jack Caglione. I know we kind of think about this question as we're making our rankings. Is it worth taking the upside on these guys versus, some of these boring players, or where do you fall on this? Obviously, we have your rankings. I know you love it when somebody asks you about your rankings exactly after you've given your rankings, Gray. We love that so much. But in a shallow league, Gray, in a team or 10 or like an RCL, would you take like a Caglione or, the guy we're going to talk about next over, a Yandy, a Burleson type that is just kind of more of a consistency play?
Why it's the question is, why did you rank Caglione after Burleson?
That wasn't the question completely.
No, I know it's not your question. I'm saying the average commenter question is, why did you rank this guy after this guy?
Yes.
And
even though their numbers are right here in front of
me. I'm ignoring everything you just wrote.
Yeah,
and I'm asking you again to say it again. Yeah, I mean, I think with upside, it depends on it. Honestly, not to sidestep the question, but I think it really depends on the player, because like Caglione, it's upside kind of in a way where there's no baseline to really expect. Like if you have like upside with like Bryce Harper is different than upside for Jake Caglione, because Caglione, his upside could be 35 to 60, which is amazing, but we also haven't seen anything close to that. So it's just like that's really just like you just pulling numbers from the air. Where Bryce Harper, I mean, you've actually seen him be good before. It's not the craziest thing to see him be good again. So it really is kind of dependent on the player on like how much to go with upside versus a floor or a ceiling kind of player. We're in a place in the draft where these guys are more upside than, if there's no upside at this point, then they're probably not even worth drafting. That's kind of where we are at this point in the draft. I mean, it's like, like if there's like a guy with no upside who hasn't been listed yet, like, Spencer Horowitz or something. It's like, yeah, he's got no upside, but he's also got downside. Like, I don't want that. So at least Caglione has upside. I think it's, it's kind of a dodge on the question, but I think it's probably player dependent.
All right, that's fair enough. I'll let you get away with that one, Gray, and we'll move on to our next guy, which is another prospect in a guy that I love, and I think I'm going to have. I love buying in the Reds players and then them disappointing me, so I really hope that that's not what happens on this guy.
Hold on a second. I have Matt McClain is on the phone. What is that? No, Vito's not inferring
that never happened. This podcast definitely doesn't hype Reds players that disappoint. We wouldn't have Ellie or Matt McClain.
I love me some Reds, man. I love them. I love me some Sal Stewart. I love him, and I guarantee he's going to disappoint. I guarantee you. You know what I love about the Reds players? It's like this is what will happen. It'd be like, Sal Stewart looks really good. I'm drafting him. And then we get to the first week of the season, and it's like, actually, I think he's a platoon player at best. Like, why are you platooning him? What are you doing? why are you doing this? And then by June, it's like, oh yeah, he's going to the minors. He's getting demoted. He's not even going to be around anymore. Hello, Christian Encarnacion Strand.
Or hit 3 home runs and get a stolen base in the first week, and then so you have to carry him, and then awful for 2 months straight. That'll be all really fun to do.
Brutal.
But anyways, last year, 18 games in the majors, Sal Stewart had 5 home runs and hit 255. In 80 games in Double-A, he had 10 home runs, 13 stolen bases, and hit 306. In 38 games in Triple-A, he had also 10 home runs and hit 315. You're projected for 26 home runs, 6 stolen bases, 63, 71, and 241. He has controlled the strikeouts across every level, Gray. From the very small sample in the majors, he actually hit the ball harder than Nick Kurtz or Vlad. He has just absolutely mashed the ball in those limited sample. Again, it's such small sample, it's really irrelevant, but he hits the ball really hard is what I'm just trying to tell you. But again, same as Cags, like, what's the upside here? Is it worth taking over those guys? It just kind of depends on where you're at.
Yeah. I mean, I said kind of my piece a little bit on Sal Stewart, but I'll add this, that I think it was November when I first ranked him in my project, and I projected him. I feel like I had him at it was like Michael Busch, Tyler Soderstrom, Sal Stewart. And then the Reds, at some point in December, the Reds went and got J.D. Bleday, which you would think wouldn't matter. And then the Reds reporters were saying how Bleday could DH a little bit and give Sal Stewart some time off. And I'm like, what are you talking about? J.J. Bleday? Why would J.J. Bleday steal at bats from Sal Stewart? So at a certain, is really, I feel like the Reds upside hitters and, their team in general. I mean, that is I feel like that's a good example as to why you got to be careful with Sal Stewart. I mean, he looks amazing. According to his stats and his projections and everything, I won Sal Stewart in every league. I am absolutely expecting to be heartbroken by May. I feel like it's coming on, but I do really like him. I mean, everything you mentioned, it all screams breakout, draft this guy. There's no reason why he shouldn't be good. He's like a middle of the order guy. And it's oh my God, how many times have we heard this before? We've heard it so many times with the Reds. So yeah, I mean, I like him though.
I am ready to be heard again, Gray. It will happen. It fully will happen, because I actually have him up where you were just talking. That's where I have him. So yep, ready to get hurt. Next here, number 17, Spencer Torkelson. Last year had 31 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 82, 78. He hit 240, 333, and 456. You're projected for 30 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 73, 79, and 231. This is where I'm going to start blind resumeing people. Is that really much different from Vinnie Pasquantino, other than Steamer, who hates him?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Torkelson's, I have him projected for 231 average. I feel like that might even be optimistic a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's realistic. 231 though. It's when you're drafting that, if you really get a let's say his projections right now are 27, 230. So if you really get that number, those numbers, there's going to be solid weeks during the season where you're I want to drop him. I don't want him anymore on my team. So is he that I feel like it's, I don't know. I see what you're saying, but also that separation in average, his difference in average, and just the fact that he only gives power. So you're going to have some weeks where he's just going to go 2 for 40 with 2 doubles, and you're gonna be like, oh God, he's so awful. He's terrible. And then he's gonna have like a couple weeks where he hits some homers, and you're like, oh, that's good. But he's still never gonna hit for a decent average, and it's gonna be kind of brutal at times to roster Torkelson, I think. So I would say in a deeper league for corner infielder, fine. I mean, okay. And maybe he has upside. You know, he's still only 26 years old. Maybe he has more power in his bat. Comerica is a terrible park, so that doesn't help. But yeah, maybe he does get to 35 homers and the 100 RBIs that comes with that. And he lucks into a better average with like his BABIP. Like those possibilities are out there. It could happen. I feel like his floor though is kind of brutal. So it's like the upside is good, but it feels a lot like a deeper league guy, where in a deeper league you can just set him and forget him and take the 30 homers with the 230 average and be like, whatever. He's my corner man. I don't care. Let him just hit homers on occasion. But in shallower leagues, that becomes more difficult to roster. So yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, he's fine if, like for his fantasy value, it is like a 30 homer, 80 RBI, 235 hitter is, that's probably in the 200 overall range on the player rater. So it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't know. I like Torkelson. I think there's still a little bit of growth there, but then we are getting into like pick your skill set a little bit. Do you want a little average? Do you want a little power? Do you want them just not to hurt you in somewhere? Like that's kind of where we're starting to get. And Torkelson's definitely gonna have his downsides as well. And we've already seen him get sent down recently, last 2 years ago. So there is that possibility. Number 18 is Salvador Perez. We talked about him in the Catchers podcast. Number 19, Spencer Steer, another Red we just loved to pump up last year and the year before that. Last year he had 21 home runs, 7 stolen bases, 66, 75. He hit 238, 312, and 411. Young project for 20 home runs, 9 stolen bases, 71, 81, and 246. I mean, again, what are your thoughts here? I'm going to try and be more realistic about the Reds this year, even though I still feel like they have a ton of talent.
I know. Our luck is we were just a year early on the Reds, and this is the year this will
be the year. They'll be the best offense in baseball. It'll be so fun to own them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yep. I'm kind of surprised. Like he's buried in ADP. He's at 256 overall, which is barely. That is, I mean, that's 4 15-team mixed league. So you take it with a grain of salt, but that is barely 256 is barely draftable in a 12-team mixed league. Where I don't know. I mean, last year 21 homers, 7 steals, 238. Not incredible, obviously, but if he gets his average bounces back, his strikeout rate isn't awful. So if his average bounces back to the 260 range, and he does, similar with the power and speed, I mean, he's actually stolen 25 bags one year. In 2024, he stole 25 bags. So, I mean, there could be upside for steals, but even if he does, 20, 10, 250, I mean, there's value to that above 255 overall on ADP. So, and with upside. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to get out of the Reds. It is. I mean, it's hard, man. I don't know. I'm ready to be like completely dumbstruck as to how awful the Reds are after loving them for a second year in a row. But yeah, I mean, Steer should be middle of the order for the Reds. has some speed, has some power. Hopefully the average bounces back. I think that's where you're at with Steer. And I think that's still worth it in a 12-team mixed league.
Yeah, I think so. If you can get the power, speed, and you have at least a semblance that he can hit for a high average, or at least a decent average. We've seen him hit 271 across the full season. I mean, I think there is the possibility that there's more here. I do wonder for the Reds across the board. You know, it didn't really matter so much when we were talking about Sal Stewart because he's not really a huge stolen base guy, even though he can steal bases. But for Spencer Steer and even when we're talking like at the top with like Ellie, I do wonder if Terry Francona just isn't going to steal as much as the Reds did before. You know, they were top 3 in the league, I think, for like the last 3 years before Francona got there. And then he came in and they were like mid-pack, maybe even below mid-pack in stolen bases with Ellie De La Cruz. Like that's, I just don't know.
Well, Ellie said he was injured, but, you know, going back to the Francona thing, what's interesting is someone brought that up in the comments on Razzball, and someone else mentioned how Francona was a good steals. He was good for steals when he was with the Guardians. So I don't know, maybe it was just like a first year thing trying to figure out what he had. Maybe it was like little injuries that slowed his guys down, that it all sort of accumulated over time. I don't know. I see what you're saying though, with like the Reds were definitely more of a steals team before Francona, but Francona was more of a steals manager before the Reds. So I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if it's one of those things where he was a steals guy in a non-steals era, but he's kind of maintained his philosophy, which makes him a not steals guy in our current era.
Yeah, it could be. It's like the top all went up and he stayed the same. Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like if you brought a 90s basketball player into this era, they'd be so confused because there's just shooting. There's no actual inside game. Like that's kind of what I feel like with Francona is like he's still kind of playing 90s baseball a little bit.
You're saying my time machine that I have Bill Lambier waiting in my time machine. You're saying it's a bad idea that I bring
Bill Lambier definitely go for somebody a little bit more athletic and
okay. This is going to be an awkward conversation now because it took a lot of haranguing to get him into the time machine. Now to get him out, it's going to be a lot. But okay,
whatever. We'll give it a try, Greg. It can't be any worse than the current NBA product. Anyways, let's talk about number 20, Wilson Contreras. He was moved, but it was after we did our winter meetings podcast, so we're going to talk about him here. 135 games last year, 20 home runs, 5 stolen bases, 70, 80. He hit 257, 344, and 447. You unprojected for 19 home runs, 3 stolen bases.
I'm sorry, I interrupted. I was just reading your notes. It says he has one of the best arms in baseball, but he's at a position where it doesn't matter.
Yep, that's where we're at, Cray. Literally the only thing he had for him going as a catcher was his arm, and now he plays first base where he doesn't use it at all. I mean, everything's kind of in line with 2024. I don't know if there's a whole lot to talk about with Wilson Contreras. He kind of is what he is.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good person to his line last year, 20 homers, 5 steals, 257. This year his projections are, around that, give or take. He's kind of an interesting person to look at for like the difference between like what his value was perceived as a catcher versus now as a first baseman. Because like as a catcher, if you hit 20 homers and steal 5 bags and hit 257, you're like a top 5 catcher. That's like amazing. But as like a first baseman, you're like, whatever. It doesn't matter. But yeah, it really doesn't as a first baseman. So yeah, I think, as we've said multiple times in the past and even earlier in this podcast, Fenway is going to help probably with his average. So I boosted his average and my projections up to 261. I'm kind of surprised to see like most projections have him losing average. Like Steamer has him down at 248 coming off of a 257 season, which I mean, I don't know. I feel like like at a certain point, like Steamer just starts taking stats away from a guy, even if they're still good. It's just like, no, you're not going to be good anymore. I'm sorry. Goodbye.
Yeah, I know that definitely happens with Steamer. Any projection system that's going to factor in age. I feel like there's just a point where they're like, "Yep, their time is going to win eventually. We're just going to do it." I remember a few years ago I had a drawn out conversation with Rudy about Mike Trout and his average that he had projected. Like it just happens at a point. Steamer's like, "Nah, they've hit the wall. We're gonna call it here." I don't necessarily think Contreras is at that point. The bat speed hasn't slowed down. The fast swing rate hasn't slowed down. For strike rate, still pretty much looks all the same. Like everything looks like it's been, in recent times. So I really don't see anything changing for Contreras other than maybe the average going up, which kind of makes him, I don't know, just like slightly lower than Alec Burleson. It's fine. He's fine. we're in the it's fine territory of first baseman, and that's okay. Moving on to number 21, maybe a little upside here. 142 games last year. Kyle Manzardo had 27 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 47-70. He hit 234, 313, and 455. Young projected for 28 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 61, 67, and a 238 average. He did control the Ks in the minors, not so much in the majors, but 27 home runs in his first year was a nice thing to see, at least. I mean, we've seen so many power prospects kind of fizzle out, but does this feel like a fizzle out, or does this feel like he has room to improve?
I don't know. I mean, his numbers to me look like he's already sort of found his level, but it's probably too early to write him off as like not having any upside, even though I feel like I have and most people have, according to his ADP. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because he should have upside, but it doesn't really feel like it if you just look at his numbers, that is. Yeah, I mean, there's, if he does do what I'm expecting, I mean, there is like, I will say, like, there's not a lot of fun first baseman with like huge upside other than like, Soderstrom and Bush. But I will say there is a ton of like, you can't throw a rock and not hit at least a 25 homer 240 hitter. It's like there's a ton of them. Like if you want a 25 to 30 homer guy who's going to hit 225 to 240, oh yeah, there's a lot of them.
There's seemingly a bunch of them. Like you said, I think there's a little bit of upside here. He's only 25, 27 home runs in his first major league look. So, I mean, anytime somebody does that, you feel like there's room for growth. The home run, the fly ball was actually better in the second half. So I think there's definitely a chance that there's a little bit of upside here. The average, I don't necessarily think is going up at any point, but I really don't hate Kyle Manzardo here. And you can get him pretty cheap in drafts. So I really don't hate this.
Yeah. It's always so weird is when you see the prospect grades and you're like, oh, Manzardo was a 60 grade hit tool and a 45 grade power guy. Like that sounds literally the exact opposite.
Not exactly how it paid out at the major league level, or even the minor league level, really. Looking through his numbers, like he's a 235 hitter at every stop, pretty much after AA, I guess AAA and on. So let's move on to the next guy here, Gray, which is number 22. We can just call this my Matt McLean of first base, and that is Christian Walker. 27 to 72, 88. 238, 297, and 421. Those aren't awful numbers, Gray, when you think about where we're at in the draft. Unfortunately, he did that all at the August, September area where you'd already cut him from your roster because he was useless. But you have him projected for 24 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 67, 79, and a 231 average. What are your thoughts on Christian Walker? I really don't want to buy in again because that was painful for most of the season last year.
Yeah, and I mean, I could see a narrative play out where there is a dead cat bounce here, and we see Christian Walker realize that he's in a great park for righties, and all he has to do is pull the ball and hit a bunch of homers. It's almost like it took him to the second half of the year last year to do this. Like, if he were to come on this year and have a bounce back year, I mean, it wouldn't shock me, really. It's all we need, especially when it's like all you need from him is what, 6, 7 more homers, and it's like, okay, that's basically what you wanted. I mean, right? Like, if he hits 33 homers and hits 240, it's kind of like that's pretty much like what you wanted all along. Like, it's not like that's really that off from his best years. Like, like his last year in Arizona, which was his excellent year, was 33 homers and a 258 average. So slice 20 points off the average because he's just gotten older. But if he hits 33 homers and 240, not terrible. That's, he also, that year in Arizona, he stole some bases, which I'm assuming are totally out of his game at this point. But yeah, I mean, you never know, I guess. But yeah, 32 homers, 2 steals, and a 240 average. I mean, it's not what I have him projected for. Don't get me wrong. I'm not expecting it, but you could see it possibly happening. It wouldn't be like the most bizarre of bounce backs. So yeah, I mean,
yeah, Lord help me, I'm probably back in on Christian Walker. Second half last year, as you mentioned, he was better. He hit 229 in the first half, 250 in the second. He actually hit more home runs in 26 less games in the second half than the first half. And I think this is something that kind of gets brought up but never really talked about any kind of depth when we're talking about free agents moving from, to AL or vice versa. Like, there is an adjustment period when you're moving leagues because you're facing pitchers you've not really seen to the same extent as, especially inside your own, division. So there is an adjustment period. And as you mentioned, the stadium itself is very particular in how you can attack it. So I'm with you that there's an outside chance where Christian Walker actually does what we thought he would do last year, which is take advantage of the stadium, and the home runs could get okay, and the average might, be okay again. And, probably not back to where he was at some point, but better than what he was last year. So yeah, Lord help me, probably back in on Christian Walker again. Moving on to number 23, Luis Arraez. He is a free agent currently. Last year, he had 8 home runs, 11 stolen bases, 66, 61. He hit 292, 327, and 392. I recognize he has a place in our game, Gray, but this feels really gross that he's in the top 24 for first baseman.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's like, I feel like he's kind of like Yandy Diaz in that, like, I rank him where he probably should be drafted, but I won't actually draft him. It's not going to happen.
There's a team or 2 teams in every league that should draft him.
Yeah.
It's usually not me at that point.
Yeah.
Average is one of those things I really don't want to just bury myself in.
Oh, totally. Yeah, no, there's usually a team or 2 that should draft him in every fantasy league. And sometimes I'm one of those teams and I still won't draft him. So.
That's fair. That's totally fair. And I'm right there with you. I would probably take our next guy at number 24, which is Jonathan Aranda. Last year in 106 games, he had 14 home runs, 56, 59, and he hit 316, 393, and 489. You have him projected for 16 home runs, a stolen base, 61, 66, and a 266 average. He had bumps across the board in the Statcast data. Launch angle was up, first strike rate was down, more line drives, less ground balls. I really like Aranda.
Yeah, well, maybe you can convince me why, because I struggled to figure out why I was I'm the low man on Aranda, and I didn't really think there was going to be much going against me in that respect. Like, I didn't think I was going to be the lone man. Like, it wasn't like I looked at him and I was like, oh, I hate this guy. I just was like, I don't know. I mean, last year he hit 14 homers and 316 with a 409 BABIP and 0 steals. I mean, I guess it's like, maybe it's a late career breakout. I mean, he's 27. He's going to be he'll be 28 in May. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand the fascination with him, because I'm not like, you're not the only one who is higher on him than me. Like, most people are higher on him than I am. I just don't see what what people are expecting here. Like, even if I take me out of the equation, the let's say the bat projections have him at 20 homers, 260 with 1 steal. I mean, that's impossible to roster in most 12-team mixed leagues. I'm sorry. Like, you think it's like, okay, well, that'll come in the 3-hole and it'll come with good runs and RBIs. And you get to like the first week of April and you're like, wait a minute, I got a guy who's hitting 20 homers and 260. That's awful. It's terrible. I don't know. And that's taking me out of the equation. So I don't know, man. I am failing to see what people are excited about with Aranda.
All right, great. Here it is. He is 5th in average exit velocity at the position. He is 4th in hard hit rate. He had the injury, obviously, in midseason. Before he went out the injury, he was hitting 324 with 11 home runs in 91 games. So that's the reason for optimism.
You're not ignoring the 409 BABIP. Like, he's not going to.
I'm not, and I'm not expecting to hit 324, but 280. Like, I feel like everybody, like, the projection systems are burying him as like a 250, 260 hitter based off of the fact that in 22 through 24, he had random call-ups that amounted to like 100 games or 120 games maybe. Whereas last year he had a job, he knew he had a job, and he came in and performed well. He hit the ball really hard. It could have been a hot start to the season, and he ultimately may have cooled off, injury or not. But that's why I like him at this point, and I think why other people like him is when you talk about guys who hit the ball that hard, who did perform well while he was healthy. Like, that's why he is liked among the general consensus. Obviously, he's with the Rays, so there's possibility he's going to get platooned at some point. But he was actually good versus lefties and righties. That doesn't mean the Rays won't platoon him, but like, he's not giving them any reason, at least from last season, to platoon him. And it's a gross position, so it's hard to find people that look like they have some upside. I think Jonathan Aranda is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair points. I'm not going to argue. It's if you say 22 homers and a 280 average, it's kind of Yandy Diaz. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. And I'm not going to argue it. It's I don't see. I'm not going to draft him, but if other people want to, go for it.
All right, fair enough. I think there's actually a breakout potential here, but you obviously do not, Greg, and that's fine. We can disagree. I will ask why you have him projected for less games than last year when he had a season-ending pretty much injury. Like, are you expecting
I expect
platoons
Rays to
in this time.
I expect the Rays to sign Luis Ariz and for Arenado to become a backup hitter. No, I mean, I just, I think he's never had anywhere close to like a full season. I don't know. I mean, it's just basically like it feels like he's a lefty. The Rays platoon everyone. So I gave him 479 at bats. That's basically saying he's going to start against every single righty and, miss 110 at bats against lefties, which I don't know. I feel for the Rays, that feels pretty optimistic. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I just don't know who in the world would platoon in for him. Like, there's nobody that needs to platoon in for him, Yandy, and Caminero. Like, there's no reason those three should leave the lineup. I know they will because it's the Rays and ridiculousness, but like, who are you bringing in that's going to replace him?
Johnny DeLuca. Hello.
DeLuca. And Ryan Vlade and
Vlade. Whoa!
Did you happen to see? I guess we should just move on. I was gonna talk about some other illegal things that are going on, but we'll just move on. Next tier here, number 25, Alec Bohm, 120 games last year, 11 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 53, 59, and a 287 average. Young projected for 12 home runs, 3 stolen bases, 58, 79, and a 282 average. I mean, average in RBI, everything looks the same as it did in 2024. I don't think Alec Bohm is going to be recreating the wheel at this point.
No, he's probably not. He is about as boring as you can find for probably a middle of the order decent hitter, but boring, very, very boring. I think maybe we get back to the upside of the power on 2023, hit 20 homers. Maybe that comes back and he finds his power stroke more. But yeah, I mean, I haven't projected for 12 homers and a 282 average. That feels pretty realistic and also really boring.
Yeah, it's definitely a deep league play. Even in a shallow league, like if you need it, I guess, but you can probably go with some of these guys we've talked about or some of these guys later when they're hitting well, if they've got good matchups and get better numbers than what you're going to get out of Alec Bohm, even though he's ranked higher. Number 26 is Ernie Clement. Last year had 9 home runs, 6 stolen bases, 83-50. He hit 277, 313, and 398. He projected for 12 home runs, 10 stolen bases, 80, 53, and a 279 average. We're in that section, Gray. It is boring.
We're in the section where you're like, are we sure he's not platooning?
Does he have a job? Does he really have a job?
I know. Yeah. And Ernie Clement, give him somewhat credit. I mean, he's not a bad hitter. Like he's kind of like a 275, 280 hitter. He's just got so little power and speed that it's just so boring. So yeah. And also, I mean, the Jays are all in. So if Clement, if he struggles at all and someone on the bench for the Jays is like better, there's no reason why they won't switch him out. I mean, it's like they'll figure, like if Davis Schneider, who shouldn't start in front of Ernie Clement, but if he happens to have a good April and Clement has a bad April, I wouldn't be shocked to see them switch. So yeah, I mean, I think Ernie Clement has a job, but tenuous.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And I think with the Jays being in, like they could even make a move and try and address that position if they get in the season and really just don't like what they're seeing from second base. Cause that's really like the middle of their infield is not strong offensively. It's not really strong defensively either. It's really just the glaring weakness as they did not get Bo Bichette back. Not saying he's amazing, but It's better than Ernie Clement.
Oh, you
and,
like Boba
Andres
Shat?
Gimenez.
Oh, be not like Boba Shat. You heard it here first.
Yes, he's better than Andres Gimenez. I can fully say that with conviction. Yes, absolutely great.
Hold on. Who's it? Matt McLean? Is this you again? Why are you? Oh yeah, no, he's not. No, he doesn't like Boba Shat better than you. Don't worry about it.
All right, moving on, Greg. Number 27, Jake Berger, 103 games last year, 16 home runs, 1 stolen base, 43, 53, 236, 269, and a 419. You have projected for 24 home runs, 1 stolen base, 63, 71, and a 242 average. He had a wrist injury. He is doing Pilates, Gray, so he's working that core, really getting the calisthenics in.
Wait a minute, Jake Berger. Have you heard about the Sniffles diet? I think it's sweeping the country, man. With allergy season coming up, it's gonna take off. Yeah, I mean, Jake Berger is unfortunately he had the misfortune of signing with Texas. The misfortune of signing a $3 million. I know. I like the misfortune of getting $3 million. No, he had the misfortune of going to Texas, which is a terrible park. I think Nick Kurtz in Arlington would be a 12 homer hitter. So it's no, sorry, Berger, but unfortunately you're in a terrible place to hit homers. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe he could bounce back a little bit, but unfortunately, kind of like what I said earlier with Christian Walker, Jake Berger, even if he bounces back for homers, that's still the only thing he's going to give you. He's not giving you speed or average, maybe RBIs if he does bounce back for power. But yeah, it's kind of boring. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's not great. I do think there's a possibility of a bounce back, at least from a power perspective, which makes him maybe a little bit more interesting than Ernie Clement or Alec Baum. But there's also a risk of just him bombing out and doing what he did last year, which is pretty bad. And pretty much the entire Texas team was terrible. So there's concern across the board there. Maybe they'll be better. I think they have to be better than they were last year. It's kind of hard to go worse than bad. But moving on, Gray. Number 28, Gavin Sheets. Last year had 19 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 57, 71. He hit 252, 317, and 429. You project for 17 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 51, 64, and a 254 average. What are your thoughts here on Gavin Sheets?
Man, it's a struggle to find something to say about Gavin Sheets. With certain every year, like you get these players, like for some reason, Jack Slawinski on the Pirates comes to mind, and they have like a decent year, and then they come back and they revert back to terrible. And you're like, wait, I thought it was decent, but they were never really decent. They had a good year. So Gavin Sheets is coming off of a good year, relatively speaking. I mean, he wasn't amazing, but he gave some value for deeper mixed leagues. But he's impossible. I mean, if he reverts back to as terrible as he was prior to 2025, then he's going to be unrosterable even in like deep leagues. So yeah, I mean, maybe he can return some value for like a 15-team mixed league corner man, but really stretching the imagination. So yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, I mean, he had some actual decent, like real decent growth in his hard hit. He got a little bit in the average exit velocity. So like there was improvement. However, with those, he still hit 19 home runs. So you need that improvement to hang around to get sub 20 home runs and sub 70, like counting stats. It's just not a great thing. If you need him, you need him in deeper leagues, but I really don't believe in Gavin Sheets. Moving on to number 29, Colt Keith. Last year in 137 games, he had 13 home runs, a stolen base, 65, 45, He hit 256, 333, and 413. Young projected for 15 home runs, 3 stolen bases, 71, 54, and 260. It's ugly down here.
I'm seeing the prospect grades for Colt Keith. 70 grade power, 13 homers. Oh, I don't know, man. Comerica is a tough park, but I don't know. I mean, at one point, someone thought he had power, so I don't know. Maybe he taps into it. I don't know. But right now, he's like, I mean, he looks like a weak first baseman who you're like, you know, you're thankful that he has like second base eligibility. So you're like, well, he's only a weak second baseman. It's not as bad as a weak first baseman, but it's still bad. And he's probably platooning. So yeah, it's not great, man. Not great.
It's not, and it's another one where you're like, why is he a 70 grade raw power? It's so funny how these things work. I mean, he had 27 homers in the minors in 2023, but has not translated to the major league level on the power front, at least. Number 30, Ryan O'Hearn, last year had 17 home runs, 3 stolen bases, 67, 63, he hit 281. Young projected for 15 home runs, 3 stolen bases, 68, 73, and a 262 average. He had a few little streaks where he wasn't unrosterable. That's about the best thing I can say here, Gray.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'll say that he's probably a better real baseball player than he is fantasy. So, I mean, it's not terrible for the Pirates, but yeah, you should do better than the Pirates. Okay. All right. Moving on. Number 31, Nolan Chanel, 12 home runs, 5 stolen bases, 64, 53, and he hit 264. Young projected for 14 home runs, 6 stolen bases, 72, 59, and a 267 average. I feel like we could kind of copy paste your last comment and just replace it with Angels, but go ahead. Yeah, do better. Do better than the Angels. I don't know. I mean, he's almost like exactly the same. Like, I mean, that's why they're ranked next to each other. I mean, O'Hearn and Chanel's projections are almost carbon copy of each other. They're so similar. One's a 15 homer hitter with a 260 average, and the other guy's a 14 homer hitter with a 265 average. They're like the same thing. So yeah, I mean, not great. I'll be honest. It could be better.
It could be. Yeah. Nolan Chanel, the most MLB ready prospect of all time, Gray. That's where we're at now. Another guy who was MLB ready when they drafted him, Andrew Vaughn at number 32, 14 home runs last year. He hit 254. Young projected for 16 home runs, a stolen base, 64, 71, and a 259 average. Some people do like Andrew Vaughn because when he moved from the terrible White Sox organization to the better Milwaukee Brewers organization, the numbers did drastically improve, Gray. Honestly, that's enough for me to move him above the last two guys, at least, that we talked about. But what are your thoughts on Andrew Vaughn?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't really buy the improvement. But I mean, there was an improvement, so yeah, maybe. I don't know. This is all the same. This is all the same lousy tier of players. So if you want to take Vaughn in front of Chanel, go for it. Yeah, I mean, Andrew Vaughn is just so uninteresting, even when he's really going well. I mean, like, you know, the second half with the Brewers, or at least the final 64 games. I mean, he was better, but even that so-called better was like, 9 homers, 0 steals, and he did hit for a good average. He hit 328, but that was with an insane BABIP. I mean, the BABIP was like out of control. So I mean, I don't really buy it. I feel like Andrew Vaughn is like he's one of those guys that's like a trap for people who are drafting, who you're late in a draft and you're like, Andrew Vaughn had a good, he was good with the Brewers. I'm going to draft him and I'm going to be good. I'm going to be so good. And then you get to like May and you're like, oh, he's not good, is he? No, he's not. I don't think he is.
Yeah, he very well might not be. I do think like we're a year or two removed from him being a 20 home run, 250, 260 hitter. Again, it's not exciting, but is at least useful. And just so that you have the numbers, since you're listening to us, when he was with the White Sox last year, he played 48 games. He had 5 home runs and hit 189. When he got traded, or when he went to the Brewers, he played 64 games. He hit 9 home runs and hit 308. So again, significant differences. The strikeout rate dropped 9%. The walk rate went up 6%. Like there were changes, but you kind of have to just buy into small sample if you're going to go with Andrew Vaughn. Moving on to number 33, who was a lot higher than this last year, Gray, and that is Tristan Casas. He played 29 games. He had 3 home runs and he hit 182. You're projected for 17 home runs and a 244 issue. Obviously, the left knee issue cost him the season. They're still not sure if he's ready for opening day or not. It doesn't sound like he's going to be.
Jesus.
What are your thoughts on Tristan Casas?
Excuse me. Jesus. Jesus Cristo with Tristan Casas, man. He's already like may miss opening day. Oh man, it's so sad what has happened to his career because he seemed really promising. I don't know. It's an area where it is a Hail Mary. We're super deep in like there's no one else really to draft. There's very few guys after this that are of any interest whatsoever. So yeah, it's a flyer. You put him on your IL. You hope he comes back healthy and makes good on his earlier promise in his career. But this is a total Hail Mary at this point.
Yeah, it is. It's just starting to feel like that, Gray. Let me ask you this. If he does come back, do you even think he has a full-time job given the lineup and kind of they've got, top prospects still not called up in the minors.
Yeah, no, I know. I thought about that too. Because like Romy Gonzalez, not great for fantasy, but was, probably better pound for pound for the Red Sox than Casas has been in 2 years last year. And, he's played some first and right now they have Wilson Contreras at first who they've gotten. So that means Casas is got to go to DH, but it moves, they have people to move around. So it's not like Casas will be totally without a job, but he really does kind of have to hit. His job isn't guaranteed by any stretch of the imagination. Like he has to come back and hit. Otherwise he could be potential either trade bait, which is probably what they should do, or, bench. He could be a platoon player at best. So yeah, he has to return healthy and hit. It's a long shot for sure, but we're also at like probably 350 overall in the rankings. We're really deep at this point. So it's like there's no one else really.
Yeah. And, he's shown power. He's shown a little bit of, I don't know if I'm going to say high average, but the ability not to have a terrible average at least. So there is some upside here. I'm just, like I said, I don't know where he necessarily slots in when he comes back. If he's ripping the minors up, of course they'll give him a look, but like, I'm assuming Wilson Contreras is going to do fine. Romy Gonzalez, as you mentioned, is fine for Major League Baseball. And he also plays kind of every position a little bit, so they can move him around. Their outfield is already stacked. So I really don't know where everybody moves to if they have to fit, or if they decide they want to fit Tristan Casas in every day. We've gone through 33, Gray. Do you have anybody left that you're maybe, only leagues, or just you're down here and you're at the end of your drafts, or you're drafting old and you're looking at some of these guys and they're interesting to you? Anybody down here?
Okay. Here's one. He's at the very bottom. And you know, it's the good old Rockies, right? Who are the Rockies throwing out there as their first baseman, huh? It's a guy by the name of Troy Johnston. Don't know much about him. You're not alone. He's 28, hasn't really played much at all, but it looks like he could be at least on the strong side of a platoon, and he's got 15 homer power thanks to Coors, and he stole 31 bags last year in AAA. So, I mean, worse things that for a guy who's getting drafted around like 550 overall. I mean, there's worse guys to take a flyer on. But yeah, there's not a ton of first baseman. And honestly, you shouldn't be punting first base anyway. Like, I don't know if we mentioned this in the beginning of the show, but and I don't know how many people actually stayed around for a 2-hour podcast, but if you're still here, you don't punt it, man. Like, don't be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to skip Matt Olson and try Troy Johnston. Don't do that. Don't be that person. That's not going to work.
Yeah, don't blind resume your way through first base necessarily. I do think there's some of that towards the middle of it where you just got to, we talked about just the globula of first basemen who are all going to give you similar player rater values in just slightly different ways. But yeah, go ahead and grab yourself a first baseman. It gets ugly, and you know that's a position you don't necessarily want to have hideousness coming from. I don't hate the Troy Franklin call, and you know, a lot of times with Colorado, you look at it, you're like, oh, well, they did well in AAA, but that's because of Colorado's absolutely absurd AAA park. Well, he was in AAA for the Marlins, so it's still a hitter-friendly environment, but not nearly as friendly as the Rockies. So I do like that call. I will also point out Kobe Mayo, he of the Baltimore Orioles, who cannot develop hitting prospects other than maybe Gunnar Henderson, TBD. But Kobe Mayo has legitimate in-game power. He's hit for high average before in the minors. Like, I'm still fairly excited, at least at this point in the draft on Kobe Mayo. He's going to be 24. I don't know that he has a starting job every day, but again, you're down here in this area. You're just kind of hoping for somebody with a little bit of hope and upside, and somebody who could potentially play their way into a role. And I think that he could.
Yeah. I don't mind that. I don't mind that flyer in like a AL only league. Sure. Yeah.
Or AL only, draft and hold, those kind of things.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that works.
Yeah. That's going to do it for us for this one. We'll be back in a couple of days with the second baseman. If you have any questions, you can always find us on X. I am at RazBeaton. Gray is the owner of the Razball account. You can find us on youtube.com/RazballFantasy or in the comment section on Razball.com. Great. I will talk to you later. Have a good one, buddy.
All right, Lates.